Assignment 12 is in three parts. Parts A and B are directly related to each other, and I'm going to show you both of those as I work through here. One of the first instructions that it gives you is to cut out a variety of small shapes in construction paper in two colors. And you can see that I've got red and blue shapes. I've also divided the page up in the way that it's specified, meaning I've divided it in half along its tallest dimension, which means that there's a mark at the 5.5 position on the page because the page is about 11. And there's a mark at the 4.25 because it's an 8.5 by 8.5 inch wide page. So if you're working on a 9x12, your divisions are going to be a little bit different. But it's specifically these upper two portions that I'm concerned with in this particular video. So these are the two that I'm going to be dealing with and talking about. Okay, this is about alignment, and it is about how and what to do in terms of center alignment. Most people think that that is a text-specific thing, but it's absolutely not. It can be for anything, and we're going to do it with the objects here. So what I'm going to need is a guideline, and the instructions, I believe, leave the guideline bit up to you, so you can do this with or without a line. Obviously, a lot of times when you're doing the design, your guideline is going to be an invisible element, but I want something that I can actually see and work with. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a line, and I'm going to make it not my black, so I'm going to make it something light that'll show up okay. And again, it will just be a reference for me. I'm going to do a line that's horizontal on the left. I'm going to do a line that's going to be vertical on the right, and this could be flip-flopped. Doesn't even matter which one the instructions say. I'm good with either vertical on the left and horizontal on the right, or vice versa. Either one's correct. Okay, and then once I have my line, I'm ready to start placing the elements. In the original design of this assignment, the intent was to have you alternate red and blue shapes, or do red on the left and blue on the right, or vice versa. I don't care which of those approaches that you go with, just make sure that you're using the shapes that you have to work from. And the idea is that you're going to place each one of them visually centered on that line. And if you want the line, in my case, my line is going to show up in front of the items because it was the last thing I drew, and I'm doing this electronically. So I'm actually going to send the line backwards so that it'll look a little bit more like what yours are. Now, the other thing you can notice here with mine is that some of these are kind of big. So if your shapes have to overlap a little bit, that's fine. You just want to fit all of them in position. It's a better idea, and again, pretend that I didn't just magically make this happen electronically because you guys are working with construction paper, but it's better if you start with slightly smaller shapes is the idea here. But I do want you to have some variety in size because it gives you a little bit of better sense of how this works, okay? So in this scenario, now all of these are center aligned along this horizontal background green line. I'm going to do the same kind of thing with the vertical, and just drag those up there and position them on that vertical line, knowing obviously that there may have to be some overlap because some of these are kind of big. And yeah, there's definitely going to be some overlap. And so mine's looking something like this. Now, in this example, I've got only blue on the right, only red on the left. If you want to mix and match yours a little bit, that's absolutely okay. Do that. You can do just one different shape. You can do multiple different shapes. So long as you end up with center alignment happening on both the left and right examples. The specifics of exactly what your arrangement, meaning how many of the different colored shapes are on each side of the line, doesn't matter. Okay, so hopefully you get a sense of how it looks and is working. These both are correct examples, and truthfully the all red and all blue ones I had previously are correct. What would be incorrect for this would be if I tried one of these. That is wrong, and that is what we're trying to avoid in this particular scenario, because what it does is it makes any shapes that are much smaller or much larger magnify the difference in their relative dimensions, because in the center aligned option, we're averaging the differences, which makes them less noticeable and makes them work as a more cohesive group. And that's the overall idea. So again, left example is still correct. Right example is now incorrect. I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to start with part C and talk about how edge alignment works in that particular part of it.